to me, I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name. All right, so welcome to Intimate Conversations. This is a platform for men and women to speak, a safe space, to try to even out the gender wars or hear other people's perspectives and their stories and their journeys in order to find understanding within each other. So that's what Intimate Conversations is. So she's been on the platform before, everybody, but she's new to Intimate Conversations. So introduce yourself, tell the people where you're from and what do you do.
Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Tanisha. I go by Tia. It's much easier. I started it's always been my nickname, but I really use it for like my brand. I am from Philly, born and raised in Philly, and so I'm a West Philly girl. And I own Tia Michelle Supply, which is a mobile beauty supply store with an on-demand delivery app. So essentially, it's literally the Uber Eats DoorDash of beauty supply, and that's what I do.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 32. Yep, I'll be 33 next month in February.
How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel being in your 30s?
So okay, I mean, listen, I've been in the 30s for 3 years now. So I feel like, listen, girl, you've accepted it. However, 30s for me,
Do you feel the difference is what I mean?
that's what I was about to say. 30s for me are definitely different, right? Mindset is different. Your body feels different. You kind of feel like time is moving faster. Listen, when they said once you hit 25,
Right. Yeah, I always say 25 is the one.
Listen, I was like, what happened between 25 to 30? Like, what? I'm still like, what happened? What did we do?
Right.
But for me, I feel like 30s is like a new, because I hate when people be like, oh God, once you reach 30, it's like, oh, we old. Yes, we are older. However, I feel like it's a new perspective. I feel like I learned so much in my 20s. I really did. Like, I really became the woman that I am today, closer to like, okay, reaching 30. You know what I'm saying? So 30s for me is good. It's just that like now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I do feel like kind of rushed, but that's just me. I feel like I'm rushing myself with like career things and stuff like that. But I've always been that type of person. Anyway, I've always rushed myself. But yeah, but I'm learning to give myself grace more in my 30s. But listen, I'm loving 30. I don't know. I mean, well, 30s. I'm loving it.
I
Cool.
can dig it. I can dig it. All right, so we're gonna go in a different direction. We had your twin on last.
Of course, I got to do this. You know what I'm saying?
So shout out to her. Shout out to China. Shout out to her. I want to go in a different direction from that. So last time we had you on the podcast, you were not pregnant. So I need to know, and before I think you were speaking of, it wasn't a thing that you were wanting to do.
Right. No.
So how did this come about? What made the change?
So let me tell you. So I was on the podcast last year, right? Mm-hmm. So I think at that particular moment, I definitely was like, right. I had my hands up with it because I'm gonna just give y'all the story. So I didn't want kids, right? So when I was younger, of course, like I thought about it, in a relationship when I was a little younger, my later teens, early 20s, where I was in a relationship, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a thought. I had my life plan. Oh, we're going to get married by this time. We talked about it, get married or whatever. I was in college. Right. Oh, I'm thinking about, possibly being pregnant at my graduation, like little stuff like that. The relationship didn't, really last up until then. So I and then also like life changed. Of course, I, went to college, started my career in doing hair, traveling and stuff. So, kids weren't my thing anymore. Like it wasn't, honestly, even when it was a thought in that relationship, it wasn't really like set in stone. Right. So it was just like, okay, yeah, it'll be a possibility. I could see myself doing this with you, whatever. So I didn't want kids. I felt like the way my life was going, it was for two reasons. I was traveling a lot, and then also, being a hairstylist, you work long hours. On top of that, I was in school full time, working full time. I had more than one job. Like, it was just a lot. So I didn't feel like my schedule made sense to have a child. On top of that, I felt like I wouldn't be a good mom. I felt like.
Why did you feel that way? Because of time? Just because
Uh-huh.
of time?
No, so because I'm a real like self-analyzer, right? So when I took work into consideration, I was like, you know what, I don't think I'll even be a good mom because like I know how I am about work. Like I really not love, but just like I was really into my career. I loved everything about doing hair, traveling, going to trying all different things in the industry. And I felt like I would do the same thing my mom did to us, and I was going to abandon my child for work, right? My mom abandoned us for drugs, but I felt like that was the only thing that I was like really pressed about as far as work. And then also I'm like, what example do I really have as far as like being a good mom? Like it just didn't make sense to me. I felt like maybe when I have a child, maybe all this trauma will come out and all these things. So for me, it was more so like, I'm not going to put a child through that. I didn't feel like I was ready. And the people that I was dating during this time, I didn't feel like they didn't make me feel like, okay, we could do this. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like me personally, I didn't want to be like a single parent. Like I know some women are just like, child, I don't need the baby dad. I don't need all that. I just need my baby. Not me. Not me. I want the dad there. I would like, because I know what it feels like to not have neither one of my parents. So I would never want, and I feel like, and not saying that, people are going to stay together or anything like that, but I'm just saying like an active parent, both parents being active. I wasn't just trying to have a child with anybody. So for me, it was always like, if I don't feel like I'm secure enough in myself, my mental capacity, the person that I'm with, I'm not going to do this to this child because I'm always constantly thinking about the child. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want kids for years. Like this is like from age 21 up until literally last year. Matter of fact, okay. I forgot, we're in 2024 now. So this is the year prior to me doing the podcast, right? So the person that I'm dating now, and it's crazy, on our first date. And just to put it out there, first date was Cheesecake Factory, period. I said yes to the Cheesecake Factory. So on our first date, we talked about, so many different things. And I was like, I don't want to have kids. Like, I was like, that's not for me. He was like, are you serious? And I was like, no, he has 2 kids already. And I was like, no, that's not for me. He was like, I think all women should reproduce. And I kind of got like, I was like, I don't know about bull. And then, but then I was like, I was like, well, I don't agree with that. I feel like not just because you can reproduce don't mean that you should. I said, because I've seen people, be horrible parents. Like, we see all the time parents abusing their kids, hurting them, killing them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just because you can don't mean that you should. So then when we, I elaborated more, he was like, I really agree. And he's in childcare. So he was like, you're right. He was like, you really got a point. So, so I got not over it, but in my back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know. He's talking about everybody need to reproduce. I ain't reproducing. So I was like, I don't know, but it was good. We stood together, but, it was like a year and a half into our relationship. And it was just something about him that kind of was like, I don't know, I can do this with you. So initially he was the reason kind of why, which is crazy.
So you felt comfortable and you felt like
he made me feel very secure, right? And we would have conversations about like me not want to have kids stuff. He never pressed the issue at all, but he understood my reasoning and stuff. And then other people around me would be like, I don't understand why you said that you wouldn't be good, because I've dated, like, one thing for me, I've always dated men with kids.
Right.
Because in my mind,
that's what I want to ask you. So your prior relationships, they never tried to press you to having a kid, or did they ever try to trap you?
No. Nope. So I purposely always dated men with kids, so they wouldn't ask me. Not they wouldn't ask me, but like No, not no, not like that. But like,
Well, you got some already, dog.
or if you already got a kid, you not that, because people like, oh, I don't have no kids, so then you yearn to have kids, right? Most men, not
Right.
a lot of men. So in my mind, I'm like, if you already got kids, listen, I'm out the clear. This is what my plan was. This is my strategy. So I was always the stepmom. Like and everybody, I never had a problem with anybody kids. They all love me. So that's why a lot of people like in my family and stuff like that, you be like, why do you feel like that's like, how do you feel like you wouldn't be a good mom? Like, you're so good with kids. Like, you're like, my cousins and stuff like that, I was always really good with kids, but I still was like, absolutely not. And then my brother has kids, and me and my brother are very close. So I'm like, I got your kids. Like, I don't need, like, I have them all the time. I've been literally with them. He has 4 kids now, and I've literally been there through all of their journeys, like literally, like they're my babies. So I was just like, I mean, why? Like, what is the point? So I always dated guys with kids, and I was just like, this is cool for me. So and then like my previous relationship before this one, he had a child very, very young when we first started dating. So he was a full-time dad. So like I was literally there a lot. Like I had him a lot. Like that was my child. The only difference between me and his mom was that she pushed him out. Like literally, like that was my child. And she'll even like vouch, like, no, she had him. You know what I'm saying? So that was, to me, that was God placing a child. Now that I'm pregnant now, I'm like, that was my practice. That was literally like the eye-opening, opportunity where it was like, you keep saying you can't do this, but you do it. You do it every day. Like, and it's not even your child that you birthed. So that kind of opened my eyes too, but I still had this, my mom, like, you know what I'm saying? My dad. So I still was like, I'm scared. Like, and I just didn't want to ever put a child through anything that I ever went through. You know what I'm saying? So that was always in the back of my mind. So then he made me just feel secure about some stuff. And then, I was like, you know what? I probably should work on this relationship with my mom, just try to figure these things out, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to have this baby and then all these things are triggering me, throughout the pregnancy, and then also having a baby. So,
right, so where are you now with your relationship with your mom?
So we're okay. We weren't speaking for months. That was based off of me, because I'm very, I don't play about my peace of mind. So when initially, like, I was,
hold on, what's your sign? What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
So what happened was, we were on this journey of trying to get pregnant, right? And the journey wasn't easy. So of course, you've seen through my posts and stuff. So, just the trying of the situation, of course, was the emotional thing, and just me trying to fix this relationship. So when I reached out to her to try to talk about things, she wasn't receptive. Excuse me, she didn't give me the answer that I wanted or that I needed. So I was just like, you know what? We don't need to have a relationship. So we didn't speak for some time. Like when I would see her in person, I would be cordial and I would be like, hey, I'll call her by her name. Sometimes I might call her mom or whatever, but we didn't have really a relationship. So then, so this was going for probably like a year, I would say. This was like mainly all of last year. And then she came around and like apologized and, try to really like, listen, I want to try to work on this. So we are good now. It's not perfect. Of course, it's not going to be, but it's good. It's good where I need it to be at this point. So yeah, we're okay.
All right. So how about the relationship with your father? I know China spoke on it a little bit, but she didn't get into details.
Yeah, we have a different. So me and my sister are very different.
I never like being a twin. I just don't. So I do not embrace my twinness.
Tell them why you don't like being a twin.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a problem with being a twin because I feel like when you're a twin, everybody lumps you into twin. Like when we come across people that we went to school with, like
you mean? You mean like one person, right?
Yeah. So like it's always, hey, twin. Oh, those the twins. Or which twin are you? Or like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I didn't like the fact that, okay, this could be just me personally. I felt like everybody always remembered Teresa's name. Nobody ever remembered Tanisha. They'd be like, you Teresa or the other one, bitch. Like, The other one.
The other one.
The fuck?
So our relationships are different as well. So I have a very, very good relationship with my dad. I did a podcast before last year sometime, and I talked about the relationship with him, and I love the relationship with my dad. Like, my relationship with my dad has been stronger than me and my mom's at one point, like, because and he's in jail. Right. So I have a very, very good relationship with my dad. Like, I love it. I love the fact that even though he's not physically around, he's super present. Like, he knows everything that's going on. He remembers things. He checks up on, like, he literally, these men that be out here and don't do shit for their kids, and y'all right there, I don't respect that shit, because at the end of the day, my dad ain't never been around us. My dad went to jail. My mom was 3 months pregnant with me in China. So, and he's been active. Right. Like, to the point, and that's the thing, people don't think about, oh, you know, I gotta pay for this, he can't even physically be here. Like, yeah. I can't call my dad. I gotta wait for him to call me and hope I don't miss the call, because I always miss the calls. I sleep with my phone on do not disturb. Like, so, but no, I have a very, very good relationship with my dad. I love the conversations. He crazy, child, he crazy. But
all right, how has the relationship with your dad played a role in your relationship with guys? Like, do you think that the strength of that relationship, you've been able to see weaknesses, to help you see weaknesses and guys in your previous relationships? How does that
so one thing I would say is, although, like, my dad has been in jail, right? And I could say, like, I'm not gonna say I've been holding him down, but, like, I support him and stuff like that. I didn't just be like, no, I don't want nothing to do with you because you're in jail. Right. One thing that I was never doing was holding down a person in jail. Right. That was something I was never going to do. I'm not trying to be smart to anybody, no offense, and I've had dated people when they've gone to jail, and I'm like, well, sorry, like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm be completely honest. Like, certain things, I'm just not. I just can't. Like, I can't do the jail thing. Like, I just can't. And just, like, I don't know. Like, my dad, although he is, you know, he's going to jail for these crimes and all these different things, which is a different story. At the end of the day, I can say that my dad is super protective, and he demands respect, right? He requires things. And I feel like I'm that way in my relationships. Okay. I know from hearing stories, I know the relationships weren't that good. Like, even when my mom and my other sister's mom, stuff like that, I don't really think that he was probably that good of a mate. Because first of all, he was always in jail. Even before this last sentence, my dad always in jail. My dad went to, like, every jail in Pennsylvania. He was a career criminal. So, but I can say that, like, just overall, he demands respect and he requires things from people, like, no matter what. Like, he makes sure that you know how to treat him. That's exactly how I am in relationships. Okay. And just whether it's an intimate relationship or just a family relationship, a friend, like, there are things that I require, and I'm standing on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I do know that I get that from him for sure.
Okay. So before we get into this pregnancy journey, I need to know, do you feel like you've been in love before this relationship, or do you think this relationship has changed your outlook on love?
No, I've definitely been in love before. I feel like when we talk about our 30s, at every point in your life, like, because I feel like I'm a different woman in my 30s than I was in my 20s. So in my 20s, yes, I love somebody, but it's different. It was a different love than what my love is now. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely was in love before, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what made this the change for you to know that, all right, this is something that I could, the trust is there. I feel comfortable. What was it actually that, took it over the top, that said, all right,
with this particular person?
Yeah.
For me, he gonna be so hyped when I say this.
No, because we need some positivity.
I know it's so positive. It is very positive, but I know he going To his own horn, yes. But let me tell you, so a month. So mind you, I didn't want to talk to this man.
Okay.
I'm be completely honest. I had just gotten out of a relationship. So it was July the year prior. I met him in March, right? I didn't feel like I was ready. I said it was going to be a while before I started dating again. The man hit on me. I didn't even catch the game till 5 minutes later. I thought I was gonna block him. Like I had all these intentions. Like I'm gonna block this man. I don't even care. I'm gonna give him my number. I'm gonna block him probably by the end of the night. Never blocked him. Like it just everything he said was the right things.
Okay.
A month into our relationship, I'm not even lying. I'm not exaggerating. We were out one time and I was looking at him
Right.
and I couldn't breathe. Like he took my breath away because like he was just first of all, sense of humor is a big thing for me, but he was so caring. He's smart. It was just like he checked off so many things that I need him to check. And it wasn't even like he wasn't love bombing me. It just was like, I felt like I could be my authentic 100% self around him, literally. And he was just, I don't know, like, it was just something like a look. Because even when we met, he was like, mind you, I had a mask on. This is right during the pandemic. I had a mask on when we met. And he hit on me. And I'm like, I said, my whole front teeth missing. Why are you talking to me? Because he ain't know, like, whole front going. What you want? Like, so he was just saying, he told me, he said, I don't know what it was. He said, I knew that I couldn't leave without talking to you. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's weird, whatever, nigga, that's game. So, but it's just a feeling.
Sometimes you feel that energy, yeah.
I didn't experience it. I've never experienced it until I got and I was like, I know what he's talking about. So I can't even, like I said, like I felt like I could be 100%. I don't think I've ever felt that with anybody else. Like, sometimes like you would be like, okay, yeah, I could be like me. I'm gonna be authentic either way. Like, but at the same time, you know your person, and sometimes your person you gotta kind of pull back a little bit. You kind of gotta, not dim your light in it's like all the way, but just like I gotta be cautious of certain things. I might, all right, this might be a little bit too much for him, or like I just gotta just chill. Right with him. It was just like he wasn't there, but you get what I'm saying? Like I was like, I ain't gotta do nothing. Like I just gotta show up and just do me. Like this is crazy. So he really took my breath away, and it just, I don't know. It just was a feeling. It was just such a good feeling. I felt so safe with him. I felt secure. I felt like he just saw me for me,
right? And
he didn't want to change me. That's another thing too. I could tell he didn't want to change me at all. He liked me for everything about me, everything that I had, everything I didn't have. That's how I felt. And that's what changed, because I never felt that with anybody else. I wouldn't say like, everybody else was horrible. I'm not going to say that, but they just didn't give what he gave. And that's where it changed, and that's when I was like, oh yeah, I could probably have a kid with him. And he was confused. He was like, you said no. He was like, what you mean? He was like, what?
Let's stay right there. So was that a conversation? Like, was there a point where you said, all right, we're going to start trying? Like, how did that come about?
So yeah, I think I just probably had baby fever. I always had baby fever anyway. I think one day I just had baby fever, and people around me having kids and stuff like that. And then I was like, I think, like I said, I do a lot of self-analyzing. So I'm going through these changes in my career. I'm looking towards the future, all these different things. And then I just was like, I don't know. I was like, I think I want to have a baby with him. Like, I was like, I want to go half with him. Like, I really was like,
half for the baby.
Yeah, like, because it wasn't even just like, like in an intimate setting or anything. Like sometimes in those settings, you're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a baby, blah, blah. Like it wasn't even that. It just was like, you make me feel so like good about this decision. And then in my mind, I said, no matter what happens with us, which I feel like we're in it for long haul, but no matter what happens with us, I know that he is going to be a number one dad to my child, period. So regardless of making it or not, God forbid, we gotta just co-parent. I know he gonna show up. I know how he is with his own kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? So once I seen that, because that was another thing too. I'm like, okay, he got kids, so let me see how he moving with his kids.
Right.
Once I seen that and how he show up, I was like, that was it. I was like, okay. So then I don't even know where we were, but I was like, I think I want to have a baby. He was like, wait, what? What do you mean you want? And I was like, I think I do. I was like, I think I want to start trying. He was like, are you sure? And I was like, he was like, why? I was just like, where did this come from? I was just like, I don't know. Like you make me feel like this is something that I want to do. He was like, are you sure? Like, as far as like you? And I was like, I think so. And I was like, but I was like, I'm secure in our decision, doing this together. And I said, but I do feel like during the process, I do need to get over these issues. Like I said, with my mom. Right. So then, we started the process. And
all right. So how are you like before this? Like y'all was having sex before this. So was you just lucky? Was you on the pill? How did
so I'm listen, I don't know about nobody else, but I use protection. I don't know why everybody act like that's like the worst thing in the world. I'm like, it's not 1902. Y'all act like it's not that. Like it's hard to not get pregnant. Like I don't understand. I wasn't on birth control. I haven't been on birth control in years. It just didn't go well with my body. I didn't really care for it or whatever. I would always get like infections. It was just too much. So I've been stopped doing the birth control. So we would just use protection.
Okay. All right. So did y'all make it a thing like we're gonna start this is practice like how did that change?
It's funny, what's so funny, I'm a planner, so in my mind I was like, I want a summer baby, so let's do, we're gonna try to get pregnant on this because in my mind I'm thinking this is going to be an easy process, okay? Right. Because my family, all the women, they reproduce.
Right.
I ain't seen no issues and nobody anything. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be easy. This is what I'm thinking because everybody around me is just like, oops, we're pregnant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting pregnant. So in my mind, I'm like, as soon as we start, we're gonna get pregnant. Right. That wasn't the case. So in my mind, I did have like, I do want to have this baby certain months. So we should get pregnant around these months. Right. And then also it was like, I had to take into consideration I was gonna be in a wedding too. So I was like, okay, well, we should probably start around this. So that's basically how it was going. Like, okay, well, maybe we should try this time, But yeah, it was kind of just like, if it happens, it happens. And I told my friend, like, listen, we are trying. How do you feel about it? She was like, I don't really want you to be pregnant at my wedding. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so we took that into consideration. But like I said, I thought it was going to be easy. And it wasn't. It wasn't.
All right. So before you actually got pregnant and before you actually went through the process of the fertility journeys, did the sex change? Like, was it like a mental process? Like, or did you just say, I want us to have a baby, and y'all was just still on your regular shit, but you was hoping to get pregnant?
Yeah, that's basically what it was. We were just on our regular with it, whenever it happens, it happens. It just was like, okay, we're not using protection anymore. Yeah. That's basically what's happening. Now, as far as like mental, like kind of stress or whatever, of course, like I'm thinking, all right, I might be pregnant because I'm literally thinking as soon as we do it, I'm going to get pregnant. Like this is how naive I was.
We had sex one time without the condom.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, sure, girl, we're gonna be pregnant. I'm telling you, girl. Telling my friend, child did not happen. So, it would be a mental like breakdown a little bit because my cycle would come on.
Right.
And of course, you already know you stress anyway when that comes. You like, bitch, you back.
Right.
So that was a lot when, and then people around me were having, getting pregnant and stuff too. So those were the only things that kind of like made it rough, because it wasn't happening. Right. I was like, what's going on?
All right. How long was y'all trying before you said, all right, I might need to go get checked or see what's going on? Like how much time was in between there?
So it was a little over a year. Because when I did my research, I'm a researcher. When I started like Googling stuff, they recommend like you try for at least a year, right, before you go to see a specialist or whatever to see what's wrong. Because in my mind, I was like, maybe it's because I had a surgery prior to, like I had gave my cousin a kidney.
Okay.
But this was like 2020. So we're in 2022 at this time. So I'm like, I'm not sure if it affects it. But at the same time, I don't know, because when I went through that process and the doctor wanted to talk about having kids, I told him we didn't have to have the conversation because I really had my mind that I wasn't having kids. I was like, Doc, we can skip all of that. He like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm not having like, I really was like, I'm not having kids. I was so sad. And I never had the conversation with him. So I don't know if he was like, it's a possibility that you would have problems. I don't know. And I never asked. I was just like, see you later, Doc. So I'm like, well, maybe.
All right, well, I can't let you glaze past the part of you saying I gave my cousin a kidney.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, that's a huge gesture.
Everybody says that.
Because if somebody asks me right now, I'm not giving nobody a kidney.
Like,
I keep my shit a B. So you deserve praise for that. Like, is that just your nature? Like, you're just a good, kind-hearted person.
Yeah, I mean, also my mom did the same thing for her. So my mom had gave her a kidney 20 years prior too. Okay. And my mom talked about it. I say this all the time. My mom talked about it like, yeah, she asked for some sugar and I just gave it to her. Like, that's how my mom, because my mom didn't have no complications. Right. Mind you, mom was on drugs. Like, my mom literally was getting high at the time. And I'm like, if the crackhead can give up a kidney over here, I know good and well I got to be good. So I never thought of it as such. That's why I'm like, everybody be like, this is such a big thing. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what do you, because even the person I was with at the time and I was getting it, he was like, this is really big. He was like, you could have, I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I'm not, because my mom literally did drugs for years and she had no complications. So I'm like, there ain't nothing gonna be wrong. Like, and then when I started like getting tested, they like, you can literally die. I was like, who can die? Like, I'm like, because it's so common too. This is a common thing that people do because you can live with one kidney. Like, it's not a big deal. So that's why when I talk about it, I don't know how to like make it a big deal because to me it's not.
Right, but I also want, I always remind people that anytime you go under anesthesia, anytime you have any kind of surgery, it don't matter if it's the smallest thing, your life is still
there. And see, I ain't know that. That's when he was like, no, girl, because you're going under. I was like, oh, child, I ain't never experienced it before. So, and like I said, they talked about like it wasn't nothing. And she she had this kidney for 20 years. Normally, a kidney donation, when you get a new kidney, it only lasts 10 years. Right. So the fact that my mom's lasted so long, and she was my cousin, super healthy. Like she eats really good too. Like she has a good lifestyle. So that's why hers lasted so long. And then most people can't even get another one. So the fact that she was able to get another one, I'm like, girl, yes, let's do this. Like, come on, like, what's up? So
how was your recovery process?
Mine was fine. I literally went back to work 6 weeks later, like clockwork. I was fine. Like I had, of course, like, the cut, the incision and stuff was because they do like a cesarean cut. Like as if you're getting a C-section. So it was, of course, a little painful, whatever, but I healed really, really fast. I healed good. I didn't get no infections. My recovery was like really good. People was like, girl, did you drop it off? Like what happened? It was like, did you drop off? Because I literally, we did it December 10th. And I was at the family Christmas party. They like, what are you doing here? And I was like, they said I could come outside. I don't what do you want me to do? They was like,
because you have to be mindful of infections and all that.
But by that time they were like, okay, you're fine as long as you're covered and stuff like that. And you're not messing with the the incisions and stuff. And I was like, they said I could come outside, y'all. And then they said if I was cool after 6 weeks, then I could go to work. I went back to work literally in 6 weeks. So I was good. Her recovery, of course, like took longer because, she was a recipient and it was a lot for her, but she's good now though. She's fine.
That's what's up. That's a blessing. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. All right. So how long was the time before you said, all right, or what was that determining factor that you said, all right, I got to go get checked because you wasn't getting pregnant?
Right. So like I saad, it had been a little over a year. So I said,
one day you just get tired. I'm like, man, I'm not fucking getting pregnant.
Yeah. That's basically what what's crazy. At first I was like, I just wash my hands with it because I said I didn't want to have kids. So I said, well, maybe I got what I asked for. That was another thing. I was like, God was like, this is what you said you didn't want. That's why you're not, this is in my mind. I'm like, I'm just not meant, So at first I was like, I don't even want to go. Like, what's the point of even going to see what's getting checked? It don't even matter. Then I was like, you know what? I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person that wants to know what's going on. Like, I'm big on like learning and having knowledge about things. So why wouldn't I want to know what's going on in my body? Because even if it's nothing, okay, well, that it must not be meant to happen. So that was really it. And then I was just like, literally, it was just like tiring because I would get so sad every month when my cycle came on. I was like distraught and like crying. And he's like, it's okay. It's going to happen. And I'm just like looking at him like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to say. You know what I'm saying? But no, he just was being supportive and he was optimistic. From the beginning, he was always optimistic. And I was just questioning so many things. I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like all these different things. So I wound up looking into it. And then what was also the deciding factor was I started working a full-time job. Well, I always work full-time, even with my business, but started working a job, and the insurance that I had, which was so crazy. The insurance that I got it's like the top one for like fertility treatments and stuff. So I'm like, this is a sign for me. Like, this is me like, okay, if we do have to go through this, at least I know I'm covered. Because I had a whole different insurance before. Right. And I'm like, how I get this one, and this is perfect for that. So that was really, and I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to make this appointment now, because if I do, because I didn't know all you hear about is IVF. That's all you really hear about. You don't really hear about all the other things or other procedures, whatever. All I knew about was IVF, and I seen that one was perfect for IVF. So I'm like, if we do have to go through that, at least I know I won't have to pay out of pocket, because I was never doing that. That's like buku money. I said, I don't need a child that bad. It's okay. I'll babysit somebody. Oh yeah,
right.
that was it.
Was there ever a time where you felt like he got tired? Like, well, I'm busting these to this happening.
No, I don't think he ever got tired. Okay. I don't think, because honestly, he knew he was fine with whatever decision that I made from the beginning. If I really didn't want to have kids, he was okay. If I did, he was happy. Like, so he never gave me no ink. He just was patient. He's a very, very patient person. He's more patient than I am. And I'm pretty patient, but he's very patient. He never got tired. He was like, I didn't care how it happened. He was like, I knew that this was going to happen for us. He was very, very adamant and very optimistic about it. He had a lot of hope. So.
All right. And your first consultation, were you nervous going in? Like, what did they tell you? Like, how was that process?
So the first consultation was actually online. So we had, we was on a laptop talking to the lady. So what they do is they ask you about your health history. They ask you about the main thing that with infertility is like your cycle. What does it look like? Is it regular or irregular? Because they want to know, like, because what happens is, like, the main thing is about ovulation, right? In order for you to get pregnant, you have to be able to ovulate, because you need to be able to connect everything. If you don't really have a regular cycle, you might not have no ovulation, or your ovulation is off. So the main thing that they ask about is your cycles. Like I said, they ask you about your history, if you're having any infections or STDs, if you've been pregnant before. Like, they ask you all these different things. And then they ask about, him, and has he ever had kids before? All those, not too many questions for him, but yeah. So that's basically what they ask you. So then what basically they do is she kind of like has like a little assessment, like, well, if you're getting regular periods, just because mine are regular. So she kind of was like, I don't think really anything is wrong. And she also asked about like our sex schedule, how often y'all do it, blah, 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 blah. So that takes into consideration as well. She was like, I don't know. She's like, maybe y'all just probably need to do it more or whatever. Like, she just not thinking anything of it, because I seem like a very healthy person. Right. And so she was like, okay, so I'm going to have you come in for an appointment. And this was like the next month, I believe. And that was for like, what did they test? Oh, that's when they tested my fallopian tube. So that was like the real first test.
Okay. All right. So were you excited? Like, did you have any anxiety?
I was very excited because we had started, right? We were starting to get information. And of course, first of all, every appointment, I was nervous. I was nervous at every appointment. But the first consultation, even talking to her, she was very nice. She was very knowledgeable, whatever. So that made me feel like, okay, yeah, like we chose, a good person or whatever. So I was feeling like optimistic about it. Of course, he's like, I'm telling you, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So he's piping me up, whatever. And so I would feel good pretty much after the appointments and talking to the doctor. When we went to check my fallopian tubes, that's when I was like, yeah, this is a lot. Because the test for when they test your fallopian tubes is extremely painful.
Okay.
It's very, very painful. They stick a catheter in your cervix. Listen, and the thing is, they didn't tell me that they were going to do this. Like, right. I didn't know anything. They just said, you're going to do this test. It's called a FemView. You're going to do this test, and they're going to check your tubes. I didn't do and I don't know why I didn't do.
So you sitting on the table, and you don't know this is about to come.
No, I don't know. I didn't know. I just literally had no idea. And I knew it was going to be something because when the doctor came in to do it, he said, because this was like the only male doctor I had that did this test. He said, did you watch any videos of like, how this test goes? And I was like, no. He was like, okay. He was like, it's going to be a lot. And I was like, because they didn't tell me, like my doctor didn't say like, oh, this is going to be painful. This is like, she just said this is the test. And then even when I called, like to confirm appointments, nobody told me anything. That's just the bottom line. Nobody told me nothing. They didn't even tell me that I wasn't supposed to eat. I'm like, well, I don't know what y'all want me to do. So it was just like a lot of like,
sometimes in these processes, the doctor will explain the test to you. And sometimes they won't tell you nothing unless you ask.
And Listen, I didn't know, but I learned that day to ask because that one. So he stick the thing in my cervix, and they put this like liquid.
Right.
Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that your tubes are open. Because at the end of the day, regardless of anything else, they want to make sure that the pathway, the sperm can go through this pathway to reach the egg, right? So that's why they start with that test, because they really need to see what's going on. So the fluid, it didn't go up. Like if all the fluid came back down.
Okay. So
after the first time, he said, I really don't want to do this again. He said, but I think we're going to have to do this one more time. What? What you mean? He was like, because if we don't, because the fluid is not coming through. He was like, so it's looking like your tubes are closed. He said, but I just want to try it again just to make sure. He was like, or you could just get the next test, which is the HSG. It's the same test, but they use radiation.
Right.
I said, I'm already here. You've already did the damage. Like, I'm already in pain. I'm already sweating. I'm already crying. Just do it. He do it again, and the same exact thing happens. So at this point, I'm like, we didn't even need to do it a second time. The shit is closed. Like, so that when the results came, he was like, yeah, it's looking like your tubes are closed. So I'm like, okay. So even after all of this, I'm like, well, at least I know what's wrong.
Right.
At this point, I'm like, oh, at least I'm able to pinpoint, like, okay, this is the reason why we haven't been able to get pregnant. So I'm like, well, why? So when I talked to my doctor afterwards, she's like, going over the results, and she's like, well, I'm like, well, what could have caused this? And she's like, honestly, we really don't know. She was like, because with your tube, she was like, the hole is the hole is very, very little. She was like, so it could be from like scar tissue from your previous surgery. She was like, you really can't pinpoint what it is.
Right.
So she just was like, it could be debris, like so many different, women, so many women go through this. Now, mind you, like I said, I've never even had conversations with people about this. I know nothing about this. Is a world that I never would have thought that I would be a part of. I know nothing about this. So I'm like, a lot of women go through this. Like, I just didn't know. So she was like, we're going through the HSG test. So of course, now I know this joint about to be painful again. At this time, I'm like nervous because he couldn't be in a room with me at this time. Like, he was so, if he wasn't there, I don't know. I think I probably would have like fell off the table the first time because it was horrible. So they do the next one.
All right, what's the differences in the test? Like, what are the
The difference is just that the HSG is just, they use radiation to look at the results so you can see more of what's going on. So the FemView, he literally just puts it in there. You kind of see it on the screen a little bit, but you don't. Like, there's not, matter of fact, I don't think they had a screen. Then I think about it. Yeah, there was no screen. So with the HSG, they're able to see everything, like all of what they need to see in those areas. That's why they use radiation. So it's just more effective as far as like the reading.
Right.
But it's the same test. It's still the catheter and your cervix or whatever.
So what was the results of this test?
The craziness. My tubes was open.
I can't.
I said, whose tubes? I looked at the screen. I said, that can't be me. I said, that can't be inside of me. I said, not when y'all just had me go through this other test and all the shit came down.
Right.
I said, oh no. But mind you, before I went and did the HSG, I was reading up on it. And a lot of women were talking about how once they got the HSG, it cleared their tubes out.
Right.
So sometimes that's what happens, because it literally could be something so small that when they put that liquid in there, it moves.
Right.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, but what if they close next month? So it just was like very, very confusing.
Right.
So when I talked to the doctor again, she's like, we don't know. Like, that's basically what they said. Like, we don't really know why it was closed first and now it's open. She's just like, it's unexplained. Basically, It was like, I have unexplained infertility. They don't really know why, because they, like, a lot of women is like, they can't ovulate. Right. They can't carry, like, because of certain things, like their uterus lining or something. I didn't have any of these issues. Right. So that's why she went ahead and recommended the IUI. Okay. And basically what the IUI is just, instead of, we waiting for, the sperm to go through the fallopian tube to reach the egg, the IUI is they take the sperm, they wash it.
They do it for you, basically, right?
Yeah, they do it for you. They wash it. They plant it literally right at the base of, like, I guess it's your uterus. I'm probably saying this wrong. Don't quote me on this. Whatever. But I know they plant it to where the egg can just, it can attach. Right. They bypass the fallopian tube. So there's no issues in, like, if the sperm got up there or not. Right. So that's basically what they did. And it's less invasive, less expensive than the IVF. Right. You don't have to take a whole bunch of shots. Only had to take one shot. And I took some medicine. Sometimes they have you take the medicine, sometimes they don't. And the medicine literally was just for me to ovulate faster, so that way they can place it at the right time. Right. And it was super easy. The hardest part was those tests, those horrible tests. But the IUI, it literally took 30 seconds. I had to stay there for 10 minutes with my legs up to make sure everything went up and literally wait 2 weeks. And then, but still, some people aren't successful though. Right. Because they, like I said, they may still have other complications. Because
so 2 weeks later, did you have to go back to the doctor, or you just stay home, did a pregnancy test? How did you find out?
So what they tell you to do is, in 2 weeks, they tell you the specific day you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take the test, or you could wait to see if your cycle comes on. Okay. So yeah, you don't have to go to the doctor until, as far as like the 2 week wait, you didn't have to go to the doctor until you got your positive. Okay. And then if your cycle did come on and you wanted to do it again, like start another cycle, you will go back, because you have to take the medicine during your cycle, the ovulation medicine. You have to take that during your cycle. So that's the only time you will go back. But yeah, you take the pregnancy test at home. Yeah.
All right. So you took the pregnancy test. It comes out positive. Mm-hmm. How you feeling?
I was like, unbelievable. Like I was distraught, not distraught, but just like, I couldn't believe it. Right. I was like boohoo crying. I couldn't believe it, because I was like, I really thought that, I didn't think that I was pregnant. I thought that my cycle was coming. Mm-hmm. I really did, because I was cramping. That's what they say sometimes happen. I was cramping. I just didn't feel, I was like, I ain't pregnant. Like, ain't no way I'm pregnant. I was just like, I'm just going to take the test because I just want to get it out the way. Right. Like, just to be like, oh, so my doctor recommended that we do the IUI 3 times, up to 3 times. Right. If that didn't work, then we would move to IVF. I already knew if the first one didn't work, I wasn't doing it again.
You were chalking it
because that 2-week wait,
right.
It's I'm like, yo, like this, because you're waiting to really like find out. It's the same thing as like what I was going through before when I was waiting to see if my cycle was going to come on. Right. It just was too much mentally on me personally. So I was like, and I told him, I was like, we only going to do it one time. He was like, all right, that's what you want to do. And I was like, yeah, we only doing it one time. So when I got the positive, I couldn't believe it. Like honestly, it was crazy because
were y'all together?
So yes, so I was being very secretive about this.
I can't.
He had no idea that I was going to take a test. So we were supposed to take the test on Monday. I took the test on Saturday because I was like, if I'm pregnant, it's not going to make a difference, like whether it's Monday or today, right? So I'm like, I just want to lessen the blow. I kind of want to get it out.
Wait a minute. So if you would have took the test on Saturday and it wasn't pregnant, would you would have took another one on Monday?
Maybe because I feel like my cycle would have started on Monday. Okay. Like that's because like when you do these procedures, the timing of everything is like so on point into the day and all that stuff. So my cycle would have came either Monday or Tuesday. That's how I would have just found out. But yeah, I probably would have. Like if my cycle didn't come, right. I had a second test. So yeah, I probably would have.
That's what I was about to ask. You only took one test?
I took one test, yes. And the only reason why I didn't take the second one, like, just to confirm right then and there, was because I wanted to wait a couple of days to take because the thing is, even when you do this procedure, right, and you get a positive, you could still miscarry. Right. Very easily. Right. That's why even when like we were ecstatic and we were very, very happy, there was still this chance that I could be pregnant now, but I'm not pregnant next week. Right. So that was always like in the back of our minds too. Like, okay, and I'm like, I'm pregnant at this point. Right. But I knew the reality of it. So it wasn't like I didn't know that I could possibly miscarry. So I was just like, okay, I'm okay with this, if it does happen. I mean, I wouldn't be completely okay, but I knew it was a possibility that it could happen. So. All
right. You sneak and take the test. How do you tell him?
So listen, let me tell you, like I said, I'm a planner, right? So in my mind, during the 2-week wait, I'm like thinking of all these things like, ooh, if I'm pregnant, I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna have the onesie. Because mind you, all this whole experience, I'm watching TikTok videos of all these women that are going through the same thing. So they setting up balloons and shit. I'm like, well, I gotta do something like that too. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could set up like a onesie or like have some balloons or have the pregnancy test inside of something. I surprise them. And this is the whole 2 weeks I'm thinking of shit like this. So when I finally go to take the test, he was in the room. It was a Saturday, so it wasn't no football, nothing on. He was just watching TV at the time. And I'm just like, let me just see, because here's the thing too. I also didn't want to tell him, not just being like just sneaky about it, but I also was kind of like, had like some pushback about like telling him that I was going to do, because with people, although we go through the experience as women, the men but they're going through this as well. So when
we end with you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, so mentally it's a lot for him as well. Like, although he's been supportive, although he's been, like the one that's like, we're gonna do this. I know in his mind, watching me go through this, it takes a toll on him as well, because he wants to have a child with me, as much as I want to have a child with him, and he loves kids. So for me, I didn't want to put too much on him as well. Like, I know that I'm going to be distraught, right? So I don't want to necessarily put everything, because I'm putting it all on him in general anyway. Every time I cry, every time I'm, upset, I'm doing a lot. Like, and I know it's taking a toll on him as well. As strong as he is, I know it takes a toll. So I really was like, I wanted to be like, okay, let me find out first, and then I'll let him down. Because then I can get my cries out. I can get, I can be a little less, crazy for him right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he wants this. So that was really another reason why I didn't want to do it. So I go in the bathroom, I'm like recording, because I'm like, I wanted to record the whole process just because I just didn't know what was going on. And my friend was like, I'm telling you, you don't know how much you're going to like help people. He was like, record some stuff. He was like, even if you don't never release it, he was like, if y'all do get pregnant, he was like, this will be good for you in the long run. So I was like, I'm recording stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna just see what happens. So I go, I'm sneaking. He don't even know I'm doing none of this. Like, he not paying me no mind. I'm in the bathroom. I wait for the test results. And I couldn't wait. I screamed. Like, as soon as I seen, I was like, babe. I couldn't wait. He thinks something wrong. He like, what? He like, what happened? Like, and I'm already in the bathroom, boo-hoo, crying. Like, he was like, and I show him the results or whatever. You've seen the video.
Today may seem so far away from existence. They'll be old enough to hear all about their story. They're gonna hear that they were wished for and so wanted.
So I show him the results and he was like, you pregnant? Like, he was like, oh my God, like, because he had no idea. Like, he knew he was about to find out whether or not I was pregnant. He just didn't know I was, taking the test. So I couldn't even, that whole debate, the onesie and shit, the balloons went all out the window, child. Because I couldn't believe it. I really thought, I was like, I'm not pregnant. I know I'm not. I was like, I just want to get this out the way. It's not going, I was like, it's going to say, not pregnant. I know it's whatever.
All right. Which one would have did? Like, how would you have told them?
So my plan was to have like something set up on our dining room table. Have like the test inside like a box with the onesie and stuff like that. And that's basically, I was just gonna say I got a surprise for you. He would just open it. Like, I got him a gift. That's basically what I was doing. I was just gonna do something simple, not nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's how I wanted to do it.
All right. So how has your journey, been as you've been pregnant? How many months are you now?
So I am 5.5 months. Yeah, okay. I'm pushing six months. Yeah. So
how has your transition been from that time to now?
It's been crazy. It's been a little crazy because I've been the biggest thing for me is the weight.
Right.
I've been small my entire life. I've never been over the weight of like 110, like no bullshit. I'm very petite, right? So this extra weight is a lot. But overall, I can say like I'm having a really good pregnancy. Like I really,
you had no morning sickness or none of that?
I had morning sickness. I started getting morning sickness probably like week 5. But of course, they say morning sickness is 9 in the morning. I would be nauseous all day. I wouldn't vomit, but I would be nauseous all day long. But what I would do was I would make sure like I ate certain things that would combat it. I would eat pretzels, I would eat apples, cucumbers. Like I was doing my research. I was like, this baby not about to do me dirty. Like, I don't know how women just be like dealing with it. Like, oh, I'm pregnant. It's okay. No, what I need to take to make this shit like not be as bad. So I was doing like a lot, and I would have like these little candies because I work overnight too. So I would have like these ginger candies that would like stop me from being nauseous. So I wasn't playing. I was not playing. So this lasted probably like 3 weeks. But literally every week is a new symptom. Like literally every week is a new symptom. But overall, it's been really good. Like my baby is growing very fast. My baby is very active. He was active since 8 weeks. Like when our first ultrasound, the doctor was like, yeah, y'all got a busy baby.
Right.
So I was like, God damn. I was like, it wasn't from the starburst I just had. Like maybe he a little. She was like, I don't know, but he's active. I'm like, because I just y'all had some starbursts in the lobby, and I was eating those. So you think that got something to do with it? So
did you cry? Did you cry at like the first movements that you could feel?
No, what's crazy? Okay, so I was asking my friends what does it feel like, when they start kicking? So my friends were like, well, first of all, when he first started kicking, we really started feeling his little like flutters. I was like, flutter. They like, how when you have butterflies like when you're nervous? And I was like, yeah. They was like, it's kind of like that. So those first couple of kicks, they're light. So literally it's so crazy because it's like every holiday I feel like he does something. So it was Thanksgiving. And I'm sitting there with my family or whatever. We sitting there talking. And I was like, why the fuck I feel nervous? Like, because I was like, wow, like, what's going on? What's about to happen? Like, Because I'm just in my mind. I'm like, what's wrong with him? Why I feel nervous? And I was like, oh shit, that's the baby. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I tell, and as soon as I said it out loud, he was like, the baby kicking. I'm like, you ain't gonna feel it. Yeah, like, so he grabbed my stomach or whatever. And I was like, oh, I was like, they said it's gonna feel like butterflies. I was like, okay, so that was the first sign. And then I think it was like 2 weeks later, I started really feeling like the kick. So I thought it was gas. Okay, because it feels like you got gas. So in my mind, I'm like, child, why eat that mac and cheese? Why would I do that today? Like, so I'm really thinking like, I was like, oh shit, no, that's the baby. Right. So that's why I didn't even like cry or anything. I didn't get emotional because I'm thinking this shit is everything else but what it is. Right. So yeah, I did. I honestly, I haven't cried at like any. Besides, like when we first found out, I really haven't cried like through this. I know I be so happy and like joyful that I don't be crying. I just be like cheesing all hard. Right. Like when I heard his heartbeat, I thought I was gonna cry because everybody talks about like, oh yeah, I cried during the heartbeat. I was like, I didn't cry. I was just so hyped. I was cheesing so hard. I was like, oh my gosh, like listen to it was so fast. I've just been excited. Like I'm so overly excited with like everything that happens. Right. I don't even have time to cry. I don't know. Like I don't.
So coming in, did either one of y'all have a preference sex wise?
So he has 2 boys already.
Right.
So of course the thought was like a girl. I was like, I gotta see him with a girl, like I've seen him with his boys, something like that. So with me, it was just always about like him, which is now that I think about it, was just crazy. But I just wanted him to have a girl. I just wanted overall just to have a healthy baby and be able to, this pregnancy be a good pregnancy, and I just do whatever I need to do. But so at first, initially, it was like, okay, I hope we have a girl. Okay. Then we found out we was having a boy, and I was kind of like, neither one of us was mad or anything, but I had already suspected that we were having a boy like beforehand. Before we did our gender reveal, I was like, I think it's a boy. Like I don't know why, but I guess it's the intuition thing. Right. They be like, oh yeah, the moms be knowing. I was like, I don't think this is a girl. I think it's a boy. Right. And he was like, no, I'm gonna get my girl. And I was like, okay. And then it came out that we was having a boy, but we had tested through the blood, like when they do the Down syndrome test. Right. So at first, even though we did that test, I was like, it still could be a girl because other people that we know, the gender was wrong. Right. So we didn't confirm literally until 3 weeks ago that it was a boy. That's why I didn't release a video or anything. So I was like, maybe it's a girl. Like, and I had in my mind, because I got like a new niece, my friends just had, and they had girls. So I'm like, baby, I'm buying bows, barrettes, everything. So I'm just thinking that. And then I was just like, when it said and I had a boy, I was like, I'm having a baby boy. Like, like I just was like hyped now. Like, I don't know. I just was like, I'm having a baby boy. And honestly, now that I think about it, because people was like, I knew you was going to have a boy. Like, you seem like a boy mom. And I didn't understand that. But now that I'm thinking about it, like how I am with my nephews and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, it's giving boy mom.
Right.
It makes sense. It makes so much sense. Like it really does. Because everybody like, oh, you're gonna be doing her hair. If it's a girl, da 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 da. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm gonna be retired by then. Like I don't do hair like that no more. Like I really don't. So, but then when I thought, I'm like, a boy mom, that's me. That's really me. Because they be like, you nice, but like you stern, like to like raise a boy. So It all makes sense now.
All right. So have y'all thought about it yet? Who came up with the name?
We do have a name. We only told a couple people. We haven't really we decided not to really tell anybody. So we actually started to think about names when we first started like thinking about having a baby. So this was a long time ago. And we wanted to do either a T name or a B name for our names. We looked through the T names. They were all ugly. I didn't like any of them. I honestly, I was like, these T names, they all the same or spelled different. It was corny. Like it was ugly. It just was like, they're so common. I was like, even though I feel like the name that we chose is kind of common, but it still was like, I didn't really care for the T names. So we was like, I was like, you know what? Let's do B names. And also I thought we were going to have twins. So we came up with a lot of twin names. We did that. We did a lot. We did a lot. And we had more girl names than boys. So the name that we came up with, I think he chose that one. And I was like, oh yeah, I like that one. So it was like, mutual. So But yeah.
All right.
But
So
the girl name he actually picked. And if we were going to have a girl, that would have definitely been his choice. He was like, yeah, you better tell everybody if it's a girl that I picked that. It was a
all right. So how are you feeling energy wise? Like, how are you feeling now?
So I'm definitely more tired now. So it's crazy because they be like, your first trimester, you're gonna be tired. Your second trimester, you're gonna have energy. Mine was the total opposite. I had all the energy in my first trimester. Like I literally was like, when am I gonna get tired, y'all? Because I don't know when this is gonna hit me. Now in my second trimester, yes, I'm very, very tired. I am very tired. Like it's crazy. I'm always tired.
All right. How are his boys feeling about it? Like, are they excited?
They're just like, man, whatever. They got other siblings. They're just like, oh, okay, that's nice. Yay. But like, they don't really care that much. At least nobody's mad. That's what I was worried about. Because I've seen, siblings and stuff be like, what? Another like what? No. So, but no, they're fine. They're like, oh, congratulations, it's nice. Yeah, everybody's cool. Like honestly, of course the kids, they don't really care. But like everybody else is like super excited for me to have a child. Like I'm like, what? Why else? But they're literally like, you should have been a mom. Like you should be a mom. So like I really do love.
I was going to ask you, are you happy that you waited?
Yes, I'm definitely happy I waited because of the person I chose. I couldn't have picked a better partner. I'm trying to say, like, listen, God did his thing. That's all I'm gonna say. God did his thing with creating him, with putting us together. This pregnancy has been even better because of him. Just even the fertility journey of it. Like he was there for everything. He was so supportive. Like he made everything much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, because sometimes you can be with somebody, they're there, but they're making things worse. They're not supportive, or they're just not saying anything, or they don't have anything to say to make me feel better, or they're not doing anything. Just holding my hand made a difference. He could have just been sitting there just watching, or like, you know what I'm saying? So just this whole journey, I couldn't have picked a better person. Like my pregnancy is like amazing because I know whatever I need, he got me, like no matter what. And I'll be sometimes like, I gotta be like, I'm literally like, when we found out like I was pregnant, it probably was like 4 weeks. He was like, don't pick up nothing. I'm like, what? I can lift shit. Like, I can pick what? I have to sneak and like lift shit around. I'm like, well, he not there. I'm just like, he was like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh God. But he's super, super support. I'm telling you, I couldn't. I'm so glad I waited because I feel like I said, the other people that they weren't horrible, but they're not him. That's just the bottom line. So me waiting and me deciding to do this with this person was the best decision I could have ever came up with. So yeah.
All right. Do you have a birth plan, or like how are you looking at that?
Listen, these babies do what the fuck they want, but the plan is to just have a natural birth. I don't know as far as like epidural. I don't know, because I just don't know my pain level. I really don't know. Like I just don't have enough. So I don't want to go in it with even like I said, I keep saying I'm a planner. This shit right here, how I'm supposed to plan this? Like, you know what I'm saying? I do hope that my water breaks though. I don't want to get induced, because not everybody, but like all the people that around me that have getting induced, they in there for hours and hours and hours. The baby don't come till a day or two later. I'm not trying to be in this hospital for 2 days, just waiting for the baby to come.
Right.
Break this water, little boy. I don't care where we at. I could be in a motherfucking fresh grocer. I don't care. Y'all gonna have to clean up an hour.
Clean up.
I want this water to break. I want to be like, all right, let me go take a shower real quick, because I know they ain't going, he ain't gonna come yet. Like little stuff like that. Like that's the shit that I'm hoping. Because my sister had a really good birth with my nephew. Like he was like ready, like to come out. My mom was the same way. So I'm hoping that I'm like them. But I really don't want to do the epidural just because I already have like pain in my back. So me doing hair for years, the surgery with the kidney. Now I'm pregnant, my back be burning. So I just feel like that's just something else to be like, okay, yeah, like but I ain't turning it down if need be.
Right.
This baby is big. Like I'm telling you, my baby is growing way faster than that, because like what they how they say you had this amount of weeks, but your baby is like what do they say? Like growing at this amount of time. Right. My baby is growing a week ahead.
Right.
So
he's growing at a faster rate. He's growing at a faster rate than the time.
So I'm thinking he's gonna be, and he is a little big. Like he's already almost 2 pounds. I'm only 5.5 months. So I'm like, I feel like he's gonna be big.
Do you feel you gonna be all stomach for your whole pregnancy?
No. I mean, so I gained weight from my stomach down. I did gain weight. My arms are just small. Like I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's very weird. I'm like how my arms suits. It's fucking weird. I don't know. I really don't, because I'm much bigger than what I thought I was gonna be. Okay. I thought I was going to carry very small. I thought like this month at 5 months was when I was going to really start showing. I started showing very early. So because people ask me now, like, are you carrying twins? I'm like, no, like, I don't think so. But honestly, I really thought I thought we were going to have twins. Because let me tell you, so when you get the pregnancy test, right? Yeah. And you do a pregnancy test, what they do is, like I was talking about the miscarrying. So you come into the office to get your HCG levels tested. That's like the pregnancy hormone. So what happens is you get it tested. Like, so we went Tuesday, right? So they check my levels, and then I would have to come back in 2 days. So to make sure that the baby is like growing and you're not miscarrying, your numbers have to double. So when I went in initially, like I said, I'm watching TikTok videos. So I'm like, oh, my level's going to be probably like, the hundreds or whatever, because that's normal. My numbers were in the 700s. So then when I went back in 2 days, they didn't double, they tripled.
Right. So
doing my research, this is what happens when you're carrying multiples. And even on the phone, they were like, yeah, so your numbers are really, really high. We think you might have multiples. So I'm like, hype, like I'm getting my twins, No, it's one fucking baby. I'm like, well, how was it only one? Every time they check, I'll be like, look around and see if it's another one in there. I'm telling y'all. But they were, I was not convinced until like 3 months that I was only having one baby. I was like, I was like, how? I'm like, my levels were so high. I'm like, I'm already kind of showing. I'm like, y'all sure? And they was like, because the baby can hide behind the other baby, right. Little stuff like that. So, and I swore up and down I was gonna have twins. But I did find out from my doctor that because I only have the one kidney, that me carrying twins is not a good idea anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, that kind of like solidified, like, girl, let the twin thing go. But yeah, I thought I was gonna have twins, and now I'm like, shit, if I was carrying twins, I don't know what I'd be doing, because I'm wobbling and oh gosh, around now. Like, this is crazy.
How's your appetite? Had your appetite like double? How's your appetite?
I'm more hungry, of course, but like I get different cravings. Yeah, he's very stubborn. But it's not like I didn't really get like crazy cravings though. No, like I didn't get crazy stuff. I do have to have a Twix every night. I will say that, which is crazy because I don't remember last time I had a Twix, but that he don't play about no fucking Twix. Like little shit like I never ate before. Not never ate, but it's been like years. Like, why am I eating grilled cheeses? Like, I ain't ate a grilled cheese since like middle school. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I eating grilled cheeses? Like, and I have to have this shit at lunchtime. Crazy. And it's funny because he get a lot of symptoms. He got a lot of the symptoms that I didn't get, which is so funny. I love the fact that like men experience some of what we experience though, because we are going through so much. I love it. He is like super tired. He always tired. He got his cravings where he got to eat cereal every night. Like, I love that shit. It's so funny to me. That cereal thing is so funny. But yeah, so he's definitely more hungry now too. So he's like congested because they say like you're supposed to get congestion. I haven't experienced it. He has. So a little shit like that. But yeah.
All right. I got to get in your business a little bit. How's pregnancy sex?
It's cool. I mean, sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable. It's cool. It's chilling. I mean, it's nice. It's nice.
I remember like it just felt weird to me. Like it always just felt weird.
Okay.
Like, it just was.
I think it probably depends on the position too.
Right. Yeah.
So I think if you, as long as you're in a more comfortable, because I think it's more weird for y'all too.
I was about to say, I don't know if it's a mental thing or whatever.
It's a mental thing, and then it's like this big ass ball, like
Right.
big, and it's like my baby's in there. Is he kicking me back? Like little shit. I think it's more weird for y'all than it is for us. So I mean, because the thing is, like, pregnancy is different because it's like our drive changes throughout pregnancy. So that's another thing that's like, okay, yeah, like I just leave me alone for like the first some amount of months, and then it's like my drive is like higher or whatever. Like, it changes. But with y'all, yeah, I think it's just like the bigger we get, it probably is like awkward and like weird. So yeah.
It's weird, and it felt a little weird, like inside. It did.
Yeah. See, I don't think I don't see the difference. I think it's more different for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's different for y'all.
Right. All right. Yeah. This is my last question. I want to ask you. Since y'all are moving, as a unit, and y'all seem to have figured it out, what's the key?
There's a lot of keys. It's the jan of the keys. You know what I'm saying? Communication is very, very important. I feel like a lot of people, like, it sounds cliche, and people say it all the time. If you cannot communicate with your person, and it's not just like, oh, can I talk to you, or you're not listening, or whatever. For me, communication comes down to like outlook on life. Are we communicating everything that we need to communicate? Can I be open with how I feel? How is my delivery? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I talking to you? How did I hear you? How am I receptive to you? So I feel like that's the biggest thing, because we have very good communication, but that's also because of like who we are, right? We're very similar in a lot of ways. I think that plays a big part. So our outlooks on life are very, very similar. So when we do communicate, we don't really disagree that much. Like, honestly, we've been together for 3 years and we've had one argument. Okay. One. Like, I'm not saying we don't disagree on things. We've literally only argued one time. So respect is a big thing as well too. Like, at the end of the day, we respect each other's opinions. We respect each other's differences, the little bit that we do have. Respect is very important. Like, and also what we require from each other. That's very important. I feel like people are in relationships, they don't require shit. Facts. So, and it's weird because it's like, how you don't require something, because it's not necessarily like, oh, it's, gender roles. Oh no, you need to do this. You need to, no. I'm talking about like, what do you require from this person to like the mate that you need them to be? You know what I'm saying? Right. What is your requirement? If you have no requirements, this person can say anything to you. Right. So because we have those things and those standards within ourselves and within our relationship, like, we really work, and like, we just respect each other, and we're friends too. Y'all don't be friends.
I say that all the time.
Friends.
I say that shit all the time.
With y'all.
I say that shit all the time.
Like, when there's no intimacy or sex or whatever, we're not doing it or whatever. I'm not at that point in time, right? What else do you have? So y'all can't watch stuff together. Y'all can't go out and have a good time together, or like because you don't even like each other as a friend. Think about your friendships. Your friendship that you call your ride or die, your bestie, blah 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 blah. Those friendships, you are kind to each other. You respect each other. You have a good time with each. These are things that you also need to have in your relationship, because when all else is not going on in a relationship, the relationship part of it, intimacy of it, how the fuck y'all have fun? How do y'all laugh? Y'all don't joke? What y'all be doing in the house? Just staring at you, or you're on your phones?
Yeah.
And honestly, even if like me and my boyfriend are on our phones, like in the house, we sending each other shit next to each other, cracking up, like little shit, like, you get what I'm saying? So the friendship, and also when you're in a friendship with somebody, you value that person more too. You value your best friend as, a friend. You care, you take care of them, you make sure they're safe, you make sure they're good. So if you don't have that in your relationship, what the fuck is that? Because when y'all have arguments, right, or something is going on, this is why people go for the low blow. Because as my friend, if we're going through something, right, you're my friend,
right? I'm not going to do that.
I'm gonna go for that. I'm not going to try to hurt your feelings, regardless of this relationship or whatever's going on. Who knows when we go in a relationship? But if you were my friend in my mind, I'm not going to come at you. I'm not going to come at your jugular. I'm not going to say shit that you said in privacy or whatever. Like, I'm not going to try to hurt you, purposely hurt you. That's why y'all had no friends either. I be thinking y'all bitches ain't got no friends either. You niggas ain't got no friends either. That's why y'all know how to be friends. Y'all relate. This is what I'm saying. Y'all need friends first. That's what you gotta have first. Shit is fucked up. But yeah, so our friendship is very, very, very good. I don't know, like, honestly, like I said, God did his thing. Like, I really feel like he created us for each other. I really do feel that way. Like, it's crazy to say, but I really do, because like when I say we be in sync, we say like the same things all the time. I don't know, like, we're so considerate of each other. That's another thing too. Like, people don't be considerate of the other person. Like, people are very selfish, and I don't understand how you with somebody and you're selfish. Like, you don't even think about this other person's well-being, or are they okay today? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I make sure he's okay every day, just like he makes sure I'm okay every day. That's very important too. Regardless, we could not be talking, are you okay?
Super important. And a lot of people forget those little small details, but they are super important.
Very, very, very important. So, I would just say that he's very supportive. We're very supportive of each other though. Like, and I think that's important too, because when the world don't seem supportive, or, you go out in this world, especially black men too, like, when you come home, there gotta be a safe space. There gotta be a sanctuary. Everything be against y'all. It's the same thing for us too,
can you say that one more time?
No, for real.
I be trying to tell women in general, like, do y'all understand that we might not make it back home? Like, this is what we go through when we go outside.
No, seriously. Like, and you could be not in those street shit.
You could be minding your business.
You could be at the gas station getting your gas. You could be putting air in your tire. Like, what? And y'all be, as soon as they walk through the door, you on some what? But I've never been that type of person in none of my relationships. Like, I've always, because I got a brother. Like, I got a brother. I know my dad been in jail, so like, and I just watch. Like, I'm a black woman. Like, I live in Philly. Like, we live in Philly. We live in a so I know as a black man, like, I know what they go through, and it's a mental thing, because at the end of the day, we learn things different from y'all growing up. Things are instilled way different. Right. Y'all learn to, you can't be, if you cry, you a weak nigga, or like certain things, like, you gotta be strong as shit for yourself, for your wife, your or your baby mom, for your kids. You gotta be strong for everybody.
Right.
And we just supposed to just, you gotta pamper them. They don't even teach that. I don't know what the fuck they be teaching, to be honest, because nobody taught me.
That's what I said.
You know what I'm saying? What are we learning here? Like, so it's like, y'all, we learn two different things. Even when it comes down to like relationships, we learn to become a wife. That's the ideal thing, right? Right. So first of all, we learn that before we actually learn what it actually entails to even be a wife. But we know that's the goal.
Right.
That's supposed to be the goal. They're not teaching y'all that.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm supposed to marry you. Like I didn't even know that was what I was supposed to do. Like until I got with your ass. So it's like I said, like the strength, y'all gotta be so strong for every fucking body. Not saying that as black women we don't either, but for a man, yes, it's like it can't be no sign of weakness, and you gotta handle everything. That's a lot mentally. If we go through it, what makes y'all think that the men ain't really going through it? And then I can't even express myself because then that makes me seem weak. I can't even tell you because then you're going to look at me like I'm crazy, or you're not going to care. You just, well, at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to do. What? Child, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of pressure. Like I've seen this with my brother. And I just commend him for being the man that he is. And I just be like, y'all, man, it's hard for y'all. It really is. So why not make it, especially if you're deserving of it? Because I'm not saying that everybody is deserving of, the peace that I provide. But I feel like peace in a household, peace and quiet in a household is underrated anyway. So I'm going to create that peace anyway. So I'm not going to, as soon as you walk through the door, shit get chaotic. But then also people don't know nothing else either. So, because I know people who was like, if there's any type of like quietness or peace, they looking for chaos because they don't know that. They scared of that. They like, oh no, something is wrong. So they looking for trauma. That's fucking crazy. And I can't be mad because that's all you know. Right. It's a crazy situation. It really is.
It's hard out here.
It is hard for y'all. It is.
It's hard out here. Hard out here. That's why I like to do these episodes so people can see, different perspectives and things like that. Because we all have different journeys, but it's still some of the same shit sprinkled in there. And you just have to listen to understand why somebody is the way they are. But when you don't ever take that time to listen, it's like this all day.
Yep. And then we just taking, what is normal to us.
Right.
And you just based off of that, that's my perspective. Right. That's not reality for me though. Right. That's just your opinion. That's not fact.
Right.
Crazy.
That's definitely crazy.
But I hope, man, the relationship I'm in now, I'll be wishing that for a lot of people. I really do. And like I said, I ain't saying like we both perfect or anything, but we got it good. And I love to see great love and understanding, and for people to really like thrive in Black love and not just getting with people just because, or staying with people just because we've been together for 6 and 7 years and being content and stagnant. So no, I want to see people thrive in relationships. I really do. And we're not really doing that, but I hope, that for a lot of people.
Right. Like you'll be surprised the amount of people that come on here and say, no, I don't think I've ever been loved.
That's crazy. But also I get that though, because the thing is, a person can say that they love you, right? But that's just their form of what they think love is. Right. So, and then some people don't even know how they want to be loved.
Right.
Damn, that's deep. That's real deep. And it's a shame.
Right.
Damn, that's crazy.
They don't.
And then what do you do with that? It's crazy.
They don't even know what love is. They don't know what love is to them. They don't know how to love somebody. They don't even understand the levels of love. So the only thing you can do is like what I try to tell people is learn. You have to be educated. You gotta dive into yourself and see what your blockages are. Like until you find out what your blocks are, it's always gonna be some shit there.
Yeah, and those love languages are important too.
Right.
Yeah, it's important to know those, like to really be able to, like, once again, going back to communication, to be like, because somebody can be, oh, well, gift giving is my form of love or whatever, but that's not.
That's not my love.
It's like that's fine. So with like that does nothing for me. So even though they don't even have those conversations.
Right.
Like, what's your love language? Like, we had those conversations before too. Like, it's funny because we're very, like I said, we're very similar. So it's like we're very balanced in all of the languages, but I know what is dominant. So I know certain things and I know what's dominant for him. You know what I'm saying? Because then we also take like past relationships and put it on the person too. And I was doing that at first too. Like my last relationship, it was like really toxic towards the end. And I didn't even realize, like, I felt like I really had like PTSD, like going into the new relationship, like over little shit. And he was like, I ain't that man. Like, what? And I was like, no, I'm just telling you how I feel. Like I was triggered because I was with like a person that was a very jealous and like insecure person. And he's the total opposite. So I could be like, thinking that, you know, he's that type of person and then moving in a certain way. And then we all fucked up. Like, it's so crazy, man. But yes, you really got to learn yourself. You do. You got to dive into yourself, figure it out, self-analyze. But people don't know how to be by themselves either. That's another problem too. Like when, like, it's like quietness and being with your own thoughts is like scary to y'all.
Right.
Take your ass to sleep. Like, try that. Like, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, figure out, because people like, you don't even know what you like. You basing this shit off of Instagram and what somebody else is doing. Don't base that shit off of where I go. Please don't. Because my thing, people like, oh yeah, you know, y'all be traveling. You know, we haven't traveled as much as we did when we first started, you know, because, you know, life is lifing. But traveling, you got a nigga that don't even want to leave Philly.
Right.
You keep talking about traveling. He don't want to go nowhere. Why? You're not going. So don't be hype about what I got going on. Y'all down the street to motherfucking Dave and Buster's or something. I don't know. But like, know your partner. Like, know what you got, what y'all got going on. So, and that's why communication is always going to be key for me. Always.
Right. And I tell people to have, like, if you don't have weekly check-ins or daily check-in, you gotta have check-in at some point. And some people will go along never having a check-in. Like, yo, you don't even know how this person is feeling.
Wow, that's deep. That is so true. Especially with like this city and like just everything, which is like work, just everything. There's so many things going on. Like, that you juggling mentally, and you can't even say, how was your day? Like, you know, how was work or how you feeling?
Right.
That's crazy. And then the person got resentment because they feel like you don't care. It's just a domino effect. Like, everybody mad in the house. Y'all mad, the kids mad. Like, it's fucking crazy.
And that's just how it is. Shit is fuck. Shit is fuck. Shit is fuck. Shit is fuck. But thank you for coming on Intimate Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. You out here glowing, pregnant and glowing and
shit. Thank you.
I want to say congrats to both of y'all.
Thank you.
Keep us posted, you know, when you're dropping all of that.
Yep. When I drop.
When you drop it. And we would definitely like to have you back on Uncensored Minds again, you know.
Oh yeah, we definitely gotta do that again. That was nice. One. We had some good topics. That was good. I definitely gotta come back. For sure. Wait, y'all still do that at that time?
Right.
See, y'all, I might be asleep. Oh god.
That's what I said. After you drop,
I'm take a nap. I'm just take a nap and then come on. Yeah, I'll definitely come back for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need to have you on. But like I was saying, thanks for coming on Intimate Conversations. I need everybody to like and share the video. Say something in the chat if y'all have any questions, topics, anything y'all want to see. So, you know, once again, I just want to say thank you to you and continue blessings. And you do deserve praise for that kidney thing. Don't let that blow over like it's a small thing, because it's not. That's a huge thing. And I'll be in touch.
Yes, this is wonderful. Thank you for having me on. This was awesome. Yay. Yes, any questions, I'll be answering any and everything, y'all. I don't care what y'all want to know.
Some great information. I always try to make sure we definitely give out information to the people, because that's the main thing that's lacking out here.
Yes,
that's the main thing that's lacking out here. People need all kinds of information. Everything.
Yep.
They be lost.
Oh yes.
All right, I'm gonna let you go, but thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Oh, come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you, girl. I really wanna know you.